Colombia is a country of rich cultural and ethnic diversity, vividly illustrated by its many colors and vibrant urban landscape. A civil war, however, burned here for over half a century, resulting in certain ethnicities and groups being oppressed. While Colombia is among the top economies in Central and South America, it also hides a staggering level of class inequality. Peasants are the most marginalized, even census data had ignored them. But this long-standing problem was finally solved in 2018. It was an era-defining step forward, owed in large part to the efforts of a legal organization. Housed in a refined residential area of Bogotá, in a structure formed of 3 interconnected houses. This is Dejusticia headquarters. Its modest exterior belies the influence it wields in Colombia. It is a major force in the country for social justice and advancement of human rights, and it is very well known throughout Central and South America. Founded in 2005 by 8 aspirational legal scholars, they were mostly dissatisfied with the constraints of academia. They wanted to use in-depth research to broaden space for discussion and drive real social impact.
Meaning we were friends, and we wanted to create something bigger, something more present in the public life. We're a little bit disappointed with the idea of publishing only in the academic world. We wanted the academia to have more impact in the social arena.
Like many countries in Central and South America, Colombia was once a Spanish colony. In 1821, Gran Colombia was formed, encompassing the present-day Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela, and Panama. After its dissolution, the Constitution of the United States of Colombia was revised in 1886, which established a centralized government and adopted the name Republic of Colombia. That framework was conservative and feudal in its mindset. That is, until 1991, when Colombia underwent major constitutional reform. Its new constitution stipulated that all ethnicities, including its indigenous peoples and Afro-descendant population, have equal rights. It was born out of a broad consensus across the political spectrum, marking a turning point for the protection of human rights in Colombia.
And the 3 leaders of those 3 tendencies were working together in a great way that was wonderful and totally unexpected in the Colombian history.
Nevertheless, peasants as a group were ignored in the Constitution. There are 15 million peasants in Colombia, roughly 31% of the population. In the capital city Bogotá, markets are lined with all sorts of fruits and vegetables, tempting market-goers. As hard as it is to imagine, the vast majority of peasants have been forced out of their homes, displaced. They have not just been left without their own land to farm, but have even been left out of census data. Colombia is among the world's most unequal in land distribution.
Hugely unequal. The Gini coefficient, the one that measures the distribution of land, it's more than 80% in Colombia. 80% meaning that if it is very close to 100, there's no distribution. So one person has it all. And in the rest of the world, it's 30-something, 40-something. So the difference is gigantic.
Peasants had been displaced primarily due to the Civil War and were often labeled as part of the guerrilla forces. Different from indigenous peoples and other minority groups, who had been constitutionally designated as protected political subjects, peasants had no such recognition, making it difficult for them to make their demands heard. So fighting to be included in the census was the first step in securing their rights.
Although they had rights as any citizens, they were not recognized as political subjects and as a collective, as rights holders. And that was the key issue. And the overall objective here was to be incorporated into the democratic system as political subjects, as a group, not as citizens and individuals, but they can have any other type of recognition, legal and constitutional recognition, and in that sense they can have access to land, political participation, and other important rights.
Mr. President,
The government and guerrilla forces reached a peace agreement in 2016, at last putting peasants' issues on the table. Prominent peasants' group leaders, seeing Dejusticia reputation, actively sought their help. They expressed hope of being included in the 2018 census.
Y lo segundo es que el campesinado es un actor político y social. Por tanto, digamos, es muy importante que a la hora de tomar decisiones desde el Estado, pues se pueda, digamos, se pueda trabajar de manera conjunta este tipo de decisiones.
The Dejusticia, a lawyer who took the case, said that it must be solved through strategic litigation. While immediately starting the in-depth legal research, Dejusticia also kicked off a series of grassroots movements with certain groups, calling out powerful slogans.
And I think that the slogan of this case captures what they were looking for. The slogan followed as, "For peasants to count, they should be counted." And the main idea, that is quite a straightforward idea, but a really meaningful one, is that if the state do not have statistical, fine-grained statistical information about peasants' livelihoods and identity, the government cannot implement tailored policies to tackle inequality and poverty in the countryside, and particularly for peasants to live a better life.
As a result, on February 13, 2018, the Supreme Court of Justice of Colombia issued a judgment requiring that the Ministry of the Interior and agricultural agencies include peasants in the census. This also led to subsequent constitutional amendments recognizing peasants as a political group with human rights, thus paving the way for the fight for peasants' rights.
The idea of the statistics was also peasants have been discriminated in social terms, but also they have been not recognized as a very important social group. So that also triggered a kind of movement for the peasants organization to try to reform the constitution in order that their rights were enshrined in the constitution. We obtained not only the statistics recognition, but also the constitutional recognition of the rights of peasants. What are the links is very difficult to establish, but we think there is a link. So it's a case that we are very, very proud of.
Dejusticia eventually condensed their research into a book titled The Constitution of the Peasantry, which was awarded the highest academic honor in Colombia. This case in particular was one of the most successful instances of Dejusticia's amphibious approach. Another case, related but altogether unique, is the lawsuit filed for human rights practitioners. Walking the streets of Bogotá, one can see all kinds of graffiti. Many are the cries of society's lower strata, emotions running over after overlong oppression, singing of sorrowful songs of blood and tears. In fact, to say that Colombia is the country most brutal to its human rights, defenders would not be an exaggeration. The long civil war led many armed groups, in their fight for land and resources, to view human rights practitioners as mere obstacles. There were 186 killings of human rights practitioners in 2022 alone, accounting for 46% of the world's recorded killings for that year, a number which far exceeded all other countries. But most chilling, while many of those directing the killings were armed groups outside of the government, like the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. Acting behind the scenes, there were often government players. The situation put human rights practitioners in remote areas in constant fear, necessitating support from several human rights organizations.
Consideramos que hay algo que dificulta la protección de los líderes sociales y ha sido el nefasto papel de la Fiscalía General de la Nación en el esclarecimiento y la lucha para identificar y desmantelar las organizaciones criminales que actúan en diferentes territorios del país.
Dejusticia had long been concerned with this issue, and courageously voiced its concern to the world. In 2008, a horrifying political scandal shook all of Colombia. Government forces had been exposed for murdering close to 5,000 innocent civilians over many years, but claiming the victims were guerrilla fighters to gain rewards and promotions, which resulted in a public outcry. Rodriguez posted a critique of then-President Uribe of Colombia, arguing that the president must be held accountable. In response, he was described Uribe as a terrorist collaborator, leaving him feeling greatly threatened. Fortunately, intellectuals and media came to his defense to ensure his safety. Dejusticia believed this long-standing issue must be resolved constitutionally. And so it filed lawsuits working with legal organizations and other groups asserting that the human rights of its defenders must be protected. At the end of 2023, the Colombian Constitutional Court issued a ruling, stating in no uncertain terms that those who defend human rights must themselves be protected. This established a legal foundation on the rights of human rights defenders and allowed groups to demand that the government make improvements.
That is really important for us because human rights movement will be able to provide data, point out failures of security public system, give some recommendations and follow up these recommendations.
These two cases, peasants and human rights practitioners, both demonstrate the success of Dejusticia, unique amphibious approach that combines rigorous research with social action.
And I think that both cases show the way Dejusticia work, which is not always that we first make the research and then the activism or the litigation, but sometimes it's the demand of a litigation that trigger a kind of strong research on us, but it's always a kind of bridge between strong research and a kind of sound litigation.
In reality, Dejusticia is not concerned only with the rights of Colombians, but also with the rights of refugees. Ever since Venezuela's economic crisis, millions of refugees have surged into Colombia, creating a very complex challenge. Many human rights organizations in Colombia were biased against the refugees. But without hesitation, Dejusticia offered its hand in aid.
For Colombian non-governmental organizations in general to understand the situation in Venezuela. And many of them think that because we leave the country, we are right-wing, and we are, almost as a terrorist. And fortunately, there are a few organizations that don't have that misconception, and one of them is Dejusticia. So they have been key to open space of dialogue and a space for encounter and for exchange of information and views between Venezuelans and Colombia.
As of now, Venezuelan refugees can only access medical care in emergency situations. But Dejusticia is working through legal means to secure their full healthcare coverage.
We have been doing it through litigation, and we have achieved some general orders that ask the health system in the country to take steps towards that health coverage. However, the structure of the health system, our legislation is complex, and we also rely in these cases in the support of international cooperation. But we hope that in the future all of these services are included.
The refugee issue also sheds light on many of the other challenges Colombia faces, which are not so different from other Latin American countries. And so Dejusticia saw early on that it should not confine itself to being a domestic organization, but instead internationalize and collaborate with others in the global south.
One of the first things that we realized, Dejusticia started as a local organization, as a Colombian organization working on Colombian issues. But very soon we realized that it was very hard to make changes in Colombia if we didn't think of changes in other parts of the world. First of all, because we are in the midst of what we call this polycrisis, in which most of the most important crises that the world is facing are not located in one specific place. They are shared by the whole community, by the whole world.
Colombia is one of the world's most biodiverse countries. 50% of its land area is forested. However, deforestation is extremely severe, and much of it is in the Amazon rainforest. It is a long, unresolved issue, and it actually worsened in the power vacuum following the peace agreement. In 2017, Colombia lost 2,170 square kilometers of forest, the most in its history. In late January 2018, 25 young people aged between 7 and 26 filed a lawsuit against the government, arguing that it had failed in its responsibility to protect the environment and endangered the environment for future generations. Dejusticia provided key assistance, arguing that nature itself should be recognized as a rights-bearing entity. It was this that became their central argument. On April 15th that year, the Supreme Court of Justice of Colombia made an unprecedented ruling. It called the case for the young plaintiffs. The court required the government to take concrete measures to help the environment. The case was a first in Latin America, and it stands as a powerful example for countries in the global south.
It's very important to have this statement of the judge. It's very important because it has a very powerful effects and put the debate the problem in the public debate. You know, everyone is talking about it, everyone is wondering, everybody is worried about the problem and ask for responses from the state.
Just 8 scholars when it had begun, Dejusticia today has grown into a human rights organization, 80 members strong. Once Mauricio's student, Diana is now the group's executive director. Dejusticia's library holds years of accomplishments. The group still engages in legal battles, but it also conducts long-term research and issues publications. This is what has won it the greatest respect. Nevertheless, with more issues to address, they have needed significantly more funding, making external fundraising a challenge.
Since most of our funding comes from international organizations, international donors, well, at some point we know that Colombia won't be a priority as it has been for the past years. So we really need to think about how to diversify, how to make sure that we don't depend on these international donors so we can assure our existence even when Colombia is no longer a priority for these international donors.
But even with aid coming from many global foundations and charities, Dejusticia does not use all the funds for its own work. Its members feel it their duty to help peripheral organizations by sharing resources.
We have a very important part of our work that is related and connected with the growth of small organizations, the struggle for their own challenges and their own objectives, and not only ours. We have a very nice project that contributes to making them grow. That is also very important because they can just be born and die very soon. They need to learn how to grow. We all need to learn how to grow, and we do it together.
In 2020, Dejusticia was surprised by the announcement that it had been awarded the Tang Prize in the Rule of Law by the Tang Prize Foundation. The prize deeply impressed upon them their organization's now international presence, and also the immense responsibility they held.
It is an honor for us to be part and to be recognized as an institution that has made significant contribution to the rule of law.
Dejusticia used part of the prize money to create informational materials to help the public better understand what they do. Dejusticia dedicates significant energy to education and mentoring. It has established 2 major talent cultivation programs. One provides opportunities for law students to intern at Dejusticia. The other provides sanctuary for human rights practitioners in other countries facing threats. It also allows them to observe Dejusticia's work in person, fostering mutual understanding. This young man works for a human rights organization in Nigeria. He was overjoyed when his application was approved.
I was telling my family members that I just got accepted into one of the most prestigious international human rights organizations, and mostly in the Global South, one of the most prestigious organizations. So it was a very happy moment for me. From what I've learned and what I've read and what I've seen, while in my stay here, I discovered that institutions, legal frameworks, and institutions are the key, drivers of human rights advancement.
He and others like him have immersed themselves in Colombian society. They have started activities, such as delivering food to orphanages, building strong bonds. This young woman works for a human rights organization in Venezuela. In Bogota, she has found temporary sanctuary.
Helped me to learn about other ways to work in human rights, like more academic, and have institute in states which we don't have that in Venezuela. It helped me to reaffirm that although we are separated by borders, there are similar situations that draws us.
After a decade and more of dedication, Dejusticia has become a beacon for human rights advocacy across the Global South, attracting many idealistic youth. Some have given up working at the Constitutional Court to join an organization that is in confrontation with the government. These ambitious individuals from various regions lend the organization vitality, but the real secret to Dejusticia's success is not just its academic research and passion for the work.
And I tend to think that in this organization, what makes the difference is not only the passion and the academy and the rigorous academy, but also the fact that it's not only that we want to change things, but we want to change them the best way possible. So we just struggle till the last minute to make it happen.
Regardless of who is in charge of an issue, members can freely express opposing views. But leadership still maintains a certain level of independence.
At the end of the day, the one who is going to publish can say, you said that, I don't agree, and I will publish my own way. But you have this kind of collective discussion, and I think this has been very useful since the beginning of Dejusticia for creating this kind of mixture of individuality and collectivity that I like a lot.
To its founders, what sets Dejusticia apart from other human rights organizations is its self-critique and pursuit of truth.
We have, to my understanding, a plus, something that they don't have, which is the capacity of doing research, academic research, seriously, and to criticize myself, which is the main idea in academia, to be able to have a conversation in which you have different opinions. And in Dejusticia we have different opinions. Our goal is not only to fight for a cause against injustice, but to do it rightly, to do it with support, with truth, if possible.
From a simple seed-like idea to a flourishing tree with many branches, Dejusticia, in its pursuit of justice and protecting human rights, has become a pillar of civil society in Colombia. Despite Colombia's many scars, despite the numerous unjust deaths, despite violent conflicts that tear at society, despite the rifts between the classes, Colombia's diversity, spanning human culture and natural species, gives it infinite potential, inexhaustible vitality. Much like Bogotá's most famous mural of two individuals, homeless and abandoned by society. In reality, though, the mural reminds us they have not been forgotten. Dejusticia will continue to give voice to the voiceless, fight for the rights of the disenfranchised, and move society closer to fairness and justice with an unwavering sense of purpose.